Hello, I'm John Fox from Johnny West. I am having Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc Adventure. Now I'm halfway through this trial. This trial is going to make no sense if you didn't watch the last episode. I'm going to assume you did. But so the correlation between two Monokuma bottles. It's feeling like it's starting to become clear. That connection must be Hangman's Gambit. Alright, chess pieces. Is it IE or EI?
Now I understand! That's it! The chess pieces! Inside each bottle, there was a Monokuma figure holding a different chess piece.
King, rook, bishop, pawn. I definitely remember seeing each of those.
Yeah.
And the piece that was inside the broken bottle we found was the knight, if I remember.
So, what's that matter?
I guess you don't know too much about chess, do you? Then let me explain. In chess, there are 6 different pieces: the king, the queen, the rook, knight, bishop, and pawn. What was left intact at the crime scene were the king, rook, bishop, and pawn. Just those 4. And on the ground was the knight.
Oh, so the queen is missing.
So we only have evidence for 5 bottles at the scene, while one apparently went missing.
What does chess have to do with anything?
Yeah, shogi is way better!
Yeah! Wait, no, that's not what I mean. So, let's say a bottle did go missing. There's still no evidence that has anything to do with this case. That bottle could have disappeared any time before the murder.
No. It's clear that the missing bottle is connected to this case.
How is it clear?
Think about what state the missing bottle must have been in. Maybe then you'll understand.
It was broken. It was excited.
I got it!
I got it! It was
The
exciting!
bottle must have been broken.
What makes you so sure?
Because there's 2 bottles worth of glass.
Because there was evidence at the scene that supports it.
Huh?
That's right. We found evidence that shows there was more than just one broken bottle at the scene.
And what is this evidence?
The bottle experiment.
I got it! Earlier, Kyoko and I did a little experiment.
I hope he puts my buttons back at some point.
We compared the weight of the broken bottle pieces at the scene to one of the unbroken bottles. And what we found was that the collection of pieces was heavier. And the reason for that is there was actually more than one bottle's worth of shattered glass.
So from this, we can surmise that 2 bottles were actually broken at the scene of the crime. But someone did their best to clean up the pieces of one of the bottles, along with the figure inside. But when they did, they must have left behind a few too many pieces, which is only natural. They certainly had no way to measure the exact right number of pieces to remove.
But why would they have to try and get rid of it like that anyway?
Because of what it would reveal about the case.
There can be no doubt about the second missing Monokuma bottle is involved in the case. They must have been used by Sakura's second attacker.
I got it! The bottle that was removed from the scene was used the second time Sakura was attacked.
The second wound on Sakura's head came from that second bottle. Given all the evidence, This is the only possible conclusion.
The killer wanted to make it look like there was only one attack, so they had to get rid of their evidence.
From there, we can conclude that it wasn't Hiro who delivered that second blow. Wouldn't you agree, Toko? And there's the matter of the magazine. You must have been in the rec room when the incident took place.
Wait! I admit, maybe there was a second attack, but there's no evidence I had anything to do with it!
No way! You killed her! I'm sure of it!
Shut up! Until 2 seconds ago, you were claiming you killed her!
I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. That's just the kind of guy I am. Plus, I just remembered something that proves it.
Okay, fine. Let's hear it.
It was right after I got Ogre's note. I was kind of nervous about it, so I went to the rec room early. You know, to stake it out or whatever. So I was waiting there, and that's when I saw her. I saw Toko go into the rec room.
Oh, before? You did?
Pretty soon, Ogre showed up, and she went into the rec room. I assumed Toko was still in there, so I figured everything would be okay. That's why I headed in. But when I got inside, Ogre was all alone. Toko had disappeared.
And you just now decided to share that with us?
After the shock of thinking I'd killed someone, I forgot all about it.
Could someone tighten the screws on his brain? I think they've come loose.
So, Toko, where the heck did you disappear to?
I guess Toko is in the corner.
You
then.
don't know what you're talking about! I never went in the rec room!
I'm sure she didn't disappear, but maybe she found somewhere to hide.
What? Hiding in the rec room? Don't be ridiculous! Whoa, why are you all ganging up on me? You're all nothing but vermin!
It's not ridiculous at all. There's definitely proof that shows Toko was hiding in the rec room. Real elements were out in bullets and battles. Oh, of course there is one. So far, you've probably been pressing the left mouse button during your first final strike. Oh no. I don't have the right buttons. Now you're going to have to pay a little extra attention to your finishing blow. You'll have to choose the proper tooth bullet to use. Okay, that's fine. We'll select it the same way during the non-stop debate using the left button there. Also, like the debate, your logic difficulty is set to kindly be fewer. Educational purposes? Oh my word. Okay, yeah. By the way, you're about halfway through the game now. Go you! I'm halfway through. There's not a lot of people to kill. This is why I think that's another reason. If it was suicide, no one would die. Good luck and have fun. Moment of truth.
It's a lie! I admit nothing! I hate you! I curse you! No! That's enough! I admit nothing! I curse you! I curse you! It's a lie! That's enough! It's a lie! I admit nothing! I hate you! I curse you! No! That's enough! I admit nothing! I curse you! I curse you! It's a lie! It's a lie! I admit nothing! I hate you! That's enough!
This should prove it.
Should have known.
Did you know someone left a handprint behind on the inside of the locker? They must have been hiding in there and put their hand on the wall without thinking. Does this handprint look familiar, Toko?
No, it doesn't.
Okay then, let's just compare it to your hand, shall we? That'll clear everything up, right?
Yeah!
Stop wasting my time. Just tell us the truth.
Okay, it's my handprint.
Dang, she just straight up admitted it.
Then you killed Sakura!
No, I swear, there's no way!
Out with it.
I probably did kill her.
Straight up again?
Wait, What do you mean, probably?
Give us the details, Toko. What happened between you and Sakura?
Talk. Now.
After I read Sakura's note, I decided to go there early, so I went into the rec room. I didn't know what she might do if I didn't go, but I was too scared to face her head on. So I figured I'd just sneak in first and hide in the locker.
Then, did you see what happened? Did you see me hit her?
Yes, and I saw you write my name. I saw you forge her dying message.
Well, that's awkward.
So after he left, I jumped out of the locker and put the magazine back on the shelf.
But when you did, you put it back upside down.
I didn't mean to. I was in a hurry.
Imbeciles, all of you.
Forget all that. Why did you attack Sakura?
After I put the magazine back, I heard a sound behind me like a monster growling. And when I turned around, there was Sakura, covered in blood and staring right at me. When I saw all that blood, I fainted. Right there in front of the magazine.
Oh, forgot. Yeah, of course.
I don't remember what happened after that. If you want to know more, you'll have to ask her.
Oh, you mean...
Haha, guess who's back?
It was your fault after all!
My fault, Master's fault. When our faults combine, they soar to even greater heights.
Well, that's an interesting thing to say.
Just answer the question. Did you kill Sakura?
Well, to be honest, Miss Morose and me don't actually share our memories, so I can't really say what was going on. But I was just minding my own business, sleeping peacefully when someone shook me awake. Was it a prince paying me a visit? I wondered. So I opened my eyes to see... splatter everywhere! I was not prepared for that. And, well, I guess it took me by surprise. I got so startled, I smacked her with the first thing I could find, which I guess was a bottle. Sakura was just worried about you, and you're terrible! No, she's terrible! Thanks to her, I murdered someone who wasn't an adorable boy for the first time ever!
And when it was all over, you collected the pieces of the bottle to get rid of the evidence, didn't you?
I wasn't about to die for some woman! If I'm gonna go down, I want it to be for killing Master!
Just go away and die your meaningless death alone. Don't drag me into it.
But I just can't catch a break, you know? Fate's got it out for me. Because normally, Sakura should have been able to dodge my attack, no problem!
Even as strong as she is, she must have still been reeling from Hiro's attack.
Hey, come on! That's...
But she should have
you
been
know.
able to dodge his attack easily as well.
But anyway, I'm not the one that killed Ogre! So that's good!
You sort of intended to, though. So that's good. Keep talking like that and who knows
Well
where.
then, that's that. Let's start the vote.
Well, I thought for sure you'd have some words for Hero on
What's
that
wrong?
one.
Come on, everyone, we're ready to vote, right? Let's do this.
No, not quite yet.
Huh?
Huh?
Not yet? Why not yet?
Don't you think there was something odd about Toko's story? I mean, you had to have noticed.
Odd? Huh?
Hiro's attack, and then Toko's, but that still wasn't the end of it.
It wasn't?
Tell us your story one more time. Tell us what happened after you fainted. Then even this gaggle of idiots should understand what I'm talking about.
Your wish is my command, darling.
It's not over yet, is it? The one who killed Sakura is...
I was just sleeping peacefully, and all of a sudden, Sakura was right there in front of me. I remember waking up right in front of the magazine shelf.
And you were taken by surprise when you saw Ogre covered in blood. So you smashed her head in with the Monokuma bottle?
You got it! I smashed her good!
And where did the attack take place?
Right where I woke
front of the shelf!
Damn it.
I was just, and all of a sudden, I remember waking up.
You were taken by, so you smashed her.
You got it!
And where
Where did the attack take place?
Right where I woke up. I killed her there in front of the shelf.
No, that's wrong!
No, that's wrong.
We found Sakura sitting upright in a chair. If the blow by the shelf was the cause of death, there's no explanation why she was in that chair.
So, you finally noticed.
No, I noticed before this entire thing, thank you very much.
That's just another lie from a bloodthirsty serial killer.
Are you sure you didn't attack her while she was sitting in the chair?
No, I'm sure she's telling the truth. Anyone who saw the murder scene should think the same way.
That has to be it. The evidence proves there was an attack in front of the magazine shelf. Huh, fair enough. I thought that was from the
I got it!
Got it!
Sakura was definitely attacked in front of the shelf. The blood stain by the magazines is proof of that.
Then she must have moved the body after she killed her, right?
How did you write the message then?
All to make it look like I did it. Because when I hit her, she was sitting in the chair.
Hey, come on now, look at me. I can't carry anything heavier than my own scissors. There's no way I could move a muscle-bound heavyweight like that.
Yeah, well, you do lift up boys to murder them.
Then what's the deal?
Well, are you still convinced the case has come to an end?
But
Plus, the biggest mystery of all, the locked room, still has yet to be explained. Until we take care of that, we can't say this case has been properly settled.
oh, that part's easy. After she killed Sakura, Toko just hid in the locker again.
Huh. So she just hid in there till everyone showed up and opened the door? And while everything was all confused and hectic, she just snuck out of the locker into the group.
No, I don't think that's possible.
I saw it for myself. I was
got
in the
it.
locker. I got
Even
him.
before we opened the door to the rec room, Hina and I both got a look inside. And at that point, the locker was already open. So obviously Toko couldn't have been hiding in there.
Okay then, where was she hiding?
I don't know. What's this whole locked room thing about anyway?
How do you not know? You killed her!
I think the fact that I don't know proves I didn't kill her. Thank you very much. You're lying.
No, she's not. I've been saying all along, there's still more to this case.
But if Genocide Jill didn't do it, that means Ogre didn't die from the shot to the head.
And
Well, I can't imagine what else could have killed her.
that's because you're overlooking vital information.
Could we really be missing something so important? Yes, poison. If there's another possible explanation, maybe it's poison. Yellow powder, I guess.
What was it that killed Ogre? If it wasn't from Genocide Jill's attack, then what was it?
There's no other possible cause. What killed Sakura? I can't think of anything other than the shot to her head.
Shoot!
What was it that killed Ogre? If it wasn't from Genocide Jill's attack, then what was it?
There's no other possible cause. What killed Sakura? I can't think of anything other than the shot to her head.
Oh,
Shoot!
What was it that killed Ogre? If it wasn't from Genocide Jill's attack, then what was it?
There's no other. What killed Sakura? I can't think of anything other than the shot to.
No, that's wrong!
no, that's wrong!
According to the Monokuma file, Sakura had vomited blood. I think we can assume there's a chance this was related to her cause of death. In fact, there was even a trace of blood left around her mouth.
Well, I mean, maybe when she got hit with the bottles, she cut the inside of her mouth.
If that's all it was, the file wouldn't have specified vomited blood.
Where did he paint the finger?
Not to mention, I didn't find any cuts inside her mouth.
You even checked in there? God, you really are into dead bodies!
No, I'm not into dead bodies. What I'm into is solving mysteries.
But if there wasn't a cut or anything, then what made her vomit blood?
Some sort of reaction within her body. Most likely, Sakura was poisoned.
Oh my word, you've caught up with me over an hour ago.
Poisoned?
That's right. This is the conclusion I've arrived at, and so there can be no mistake.
You're making me go all weak in the knees! She was poisoned? It isn't possible!
Is it really so hard to believe? Then let me explain exactly how the culprit was able to poison her.
You can explain it?
Of course, if you don't mind.
Everyone quiet! Shut up and listen to Master!
But you're the only one talking.
The key to unlocking this mystery was hiding in the chem lab up on the 4th floor.
The one weakness this game has is that it doesn't have red herrings, which means I know if there's clues left, it's not over.
Huh? Not in the rec room? Then I could have found it all along.
You never would have, since you gave up on the search the moment you were barred from the crime scene.
Well, yeah, good point.
There's a big shelving unit in the chem lab that houses a variety of mixtures and chemicals. And that's where I found this.
Is that the poison?
It's not an especially powerful poison, but it'll still kill you if you drink an entire bottle.
So suicide then.
But the specific properties don't matter. What does matter is where I found it.
Where'd you find it?
The shelf is divided up into 3 sections, A, B, and C. In Section A, dietary supplements. In B, reagents. And in C, a variety of lethal chemicals.
And that's where the poison came from? Section C?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
The bottle of poison, Section A.
I got it!
Got it!
The poison was actually in Section A, wasn't it?
Huh? But you just said that Section A was for supplements or whatever.
Strange, isn't it? Why would there be a bottle of poison mixed in with all those nutritional additives?
Yeah, so? Why?
Because the culprit switched it out. That's why.
What do you mean?
I mean, this.
Couldn't believe my eyes. Barakuya put a bottle of poison to his lips and...
Master!
Because it's protein. But as if it were the most natural thing in the world, Barakuya was calm as ever.
Ugh, that tastes awful.
Oh no! Master's in real trouble! You have to drink some water! You can't just swallow powder! It'll stick to your throat!
Idiot! He just swallowed poison! We need to make him spit it out!
The flavor certainly makes me want to spit it out. What's so high quality about this stuff?
You're supposed to mix protein with the veil stuff.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the protein, of course.
Protein?
Can I see that bottle for a second?
Sure. Do whatever you like.
Kyoko took the bottle from Barakuya. Oh, so it was all on the floor and it had protein in. Let's go about a bit of the contents with one finger. You touch the finger with a toe?
It's protein powder.
No,
Correct. That wasn't poison in the bottle, but harmless protein powder. Which makes one wonder, the poison that should have been in that bottle, where did it go?
The bottle of poison that was actually filled with protein powder, which would mean the poison must have been... Could it be? I don't know the name. I don't know. Oh, protein. Protein drink. IE or EI? Oh.
Now I understand! The poison must have been poured into the protein can. If the protein's in the poison bottle, it seems only logical to assume the reverse is true, right?
Absolutely. The contents of each container were switched. So the protein was in the bottle of poison, and the poison was in the protein can. Once you accept that, it becomes obvious how the culprit was able to get Sakura to drink the poison.
Holy crap!
All they had to do was hand her something there at the scene, and she was happy to drink the poison herself.
I feel like you'd notice after like the first sip.
I got it! You're
Yeah,
saying they
you just
gave
said
her a
it.
protein drink, right?
A protein drink which actually contained a deadly poison.
What?
That's all it took to kill Sakura. That is the true cause of death.
You know, I do remember Ogre saying that protein stuff was good for all kinds of aches and pains. So maybe she took it to try and help with the whole bleeding head wound thing.
But what was offered to her instead was a bottle full of poison. And I already know exactly who swapped the mixtures.
For real? Who was it?
Evidence revealing who replaced the two materials was left in the chem lab for anyone to see.
Sakura. Because of that.
I got it! The footprints left behind in front of the shelf. That's the evidence you're talking about, isn't it?
I visited the chem lab this morning, and there were definitely no footprints there at that point. They must have appeared around the time of the murder, which leaves no doubt that they're connected. What's more, the footprints were in front of Section A, where I found the bottle meant for the poison. The culprit must have gone to Section A to swap the poison and protein, leaving their footprints behind. And given how clear the prints were, figuring out who they belong to will pose no problem. All we have to do is check everyone's footprints right now. Then we'll see who...
It was me. The footprints. They're mine.
Told you.
Hina?
I don't know if she murdered her. I still think it was an agreement between the two of them.
If you're all gonna find out anyway, I'd rather you hear it straight from me, you know?
Then, Ogre's killer was...
Yep. I did it. I killed Sakura.
Just as I suspected. The footprints were made by a pair of sneakers. There was no mistaking
I
it.
hear drunk people outside.
And the only people here who wear sneakers are...
Koto and Hina.
I got it! Me and Hina are the only ones. Oh, so Byakuya. That explains why you...
His footprints must be Koto, are they yours? No. Right.
If the footprints didn't belong to Makoto, that left only one other possibility.
Just Hina.
Plus, Hina's been acting strange ever since the trial began. You were in an awful rush to get to the vote, weren't you? This whole time, you've been focused on pinning the crime on someone else, haven't you?
But it was Sakura's idea.
I can't believe it.
I got some of the details wrong. And I don't think this is quite over
What
yet.
about it can't you believe?
Well, it's just... the two of them were so close.
That's likely exactly why it turned out this way. Because they were so close, Sakura didn't think twice about it when Hina handed her the concoction.
I guess that's the biggest mistake, that I assumed that Sakura knew.
Hina used that trust to kill her. She deceived the victim, and she tried to deceive all of us.
No, that's wrong!
I have to say, Hina, coming from you, this was a particularly nasty little scheme.
Hina, is it true?
No, that's wrong!
Did you really kill Sakura? And if you did, why? Why would you do that?
I found her. There in the rec room. She was hurt. She asked me to bring her that protein drink. But when I went to get the powder from the chem lab, it just occurred to me all of a sudden.
Now's my chance to kill her. That's what you thought,
fair
right?
I was being too naive and nice.
That's when you switched out the protein powder, and
I've
that's
got
when you
one
gave
murderer,
her the
though.
poisoned
I'm
mixture.
taking it as a win.
And then she downed it. All at once.
Because she knew.
And then
Hold it!
Because she would have had to have locked the door. That's the thing,
I'm not convinced.
yeah. God damn it. I almost fell for it as well, and I was like, no, she shut the door.
You're not about to claim she wouldn't kill a close friend, are you? You still don't get it, do you? The game we're playing here isn't so kind. Honeyed words like friendship don't matter here. What matters is outwitting the opponent, defeating them. Not a person alive would sacrifice themselves for another. In the end, we're all in it for ourselves.
I'm still claiming it's a win. I know it's swapping.
Just like how this girl sacrificed Sakura to save herself.
No, Sakura sacrificed herself.
You say that, but I'm still not convinced.
How many times do you plan to repeat yourself?
No, that's wrong.
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying it because of some misguided sentimentalism. But there's still that one unsolved mystery, and I'm not convinced.
Are you talking about the locked room problem?
Hina, if you really are the killer, explain it. How did you create that locked room?
well, that doesn't matter. Just because I'm guilty, that means I have to tell you everything?
No, it doesn't. But the fact that you won't tell us concerns me.
Surely you're not... Do you honestly think Hina didn't actually kill her?
And if I do?
Impossible. She switched out the mixtures. She's the culprit. There's no way you can doubt this.
Are you sure about that? Even ignoring the fact that I don't want to believe it, it just doesn't fit.
What doesn't fit?
I mean, why would someone leave such a clear clue like a footprint? It's too obvious, too easy.
He's right. It makes it look like you wanted people to suspect you.
That was... I was just nervous. So, I didn't notice I'd left a footprint.
You didn't notice?
Yeah, that's just how it was. What can I do?
Listen, Hina. Could you go into a bit more detail?
We're on 4th layer now, though.
Tell us more about when you switched the poison and the protein.
Which is the first time it's gone 4 layers.
How come? That doesn't matter.
Hina, please, I'd like to know too.
Fine.
Waste your time if you like. It's clear that Hina is the culprit. There's nobody else to suspect. Nobody else could have possibly done it.
Go ahead, Hina. Start from the moment you arrived at the chem lab.
Well, right away I went to Section C and got the poison.
And is that when you spilled the powder in front of that part of the shelf?
Yeah. When I opened the bottle, I dropped it like an idiot.
I see. Okay then, go on.
So then I moved to Section A and got the protein powder, and that's where I switched them. Once I was done with that, I took the protein can that had the poison in it and left the room. But I accidentally put the bottle filled with protein powder back on the wrong shelf. And because of that, everything I did got found out. And that's it.
That story you just told. First you went to Section C to get the poison.
Yeah,
Then moved to Section A to get the protein, right? Meaning you went from Section C to Section A. Do I have that correct?
Yeah.
If that's true. Isn't that a little strange?
Can you repeat that series of events one more time?
What's wrong with you, Big Mac? You're being awfully pushy.
It's the same thing no matter how many times you hear it. How long until you're satisfied?
How long? Until we figure it out. Until I uncover the full truth of this case. Yes, there's powder on the shoe.
First, I went to Section C. That's when I grabbed the poison.
And you spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf.
Yeah. When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Okay, and then?
I moved from Section C to Section A. And that's where I switched the powders. Once I was done switching them, I put the bottle filled with the protein powder back in Section A. Then I took the bottle with the poison in it and left the chem lab. That's all there is to it.
Honestly, that's enough. How much longer must we tolerate this?
First, I went to Section C. That's when I grabbed the poison.
And you spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf.
Yeah. When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Okay, and then?
I moved from Section C to Section...
No, that's wrong!
No, that's wrong! That was a guess, by the way.
You said you went to get the poison from Section C, and that's where you spilled the powder, right?
Yeah? What about it?
And after that, you said you moved from Section C to Section A to get the protein. But the footprints left at the scene were not moving from Section C to Section A. That contradicts what you just said.
The poison was downstairs.
What?
Then maybe she moved in some weird direction on purpose to disguise her movements?
No, that can't be it. Remember what Hina just said?
I'll just know this so I didn't notice that I'd left a footprint.
What the? Hina, what's the meaning of this?
Well...
You lied to us. Plain and simple. If you look at the footprints, your movements in the chem lab are obvious. The powder had already been spilled when you came in, and you went straight to Section A.
Sakura spilled it.
So you never went to Section C. Whatever you did there, it only involved Section A.
Well... You see...
The world's been turned upside down.
What the hell? What's going on here?
And the footprints aren't the only problem with her account.
What?
Before I explain that part, I'd like to submit some new evidence.
You're not allowed to do that.
New evidence? Impossible, there can't be.
Are you sure? After all, you're the one that gave it to me.
I did?
It was hidden inside the bottle of poison you gave me. I'm amazed you, of all people, would miss such a vital clue. A truly grave oversight.
Just say it already! What is it you think you found?
I found this.
Piece of glass.
It had sunk to the bottom of the bottle, and the hidden clue was exposed, thanks to you ingesting the powder. I couldn't have solved the mystery without you. So, thank you for that.
But, what is it?
Oh, you still don't realize? Makoto, why don't you explain it?
Monokuma bottle?
Huh? Me?
Fine. If you really do know, explain the meaning of that shard of glass.
The rec room window.
I got it! It's part of the window from the rec room door, right?
Yeah. Which means it wasn't put back until after... Hang on, she went to get the... What? Hang on. Okay. That's the one put in the wrong section. So when she went to get the broom... No, she got the broom before the shards of glass. I don't know.
The window?
The window we broke to get in was light blue, just like that.
Yeah.
So I think that must be it.
You're right. It must be. Of course, that leads to another question. How did a shard of glass from the window get inside this bottle of poison?
It was sitting right next to the door.
What's so strange about that?
What's strange is that, according to what Hina told us,
Where was it? The bottle of poison should have been one of the rec room window. According to him, it should have been in the A section of the shelf.
I got it! The bottle of poison was left on the shelf in the chem lab. That is what you said, right, Hina? And yet, somehow a piece of glass from the rec room window made its way into the bottle.
Well, to be fair to me, that's new evidence I wasn't aware of.
Everything Hina told us was a lie?
In reality, that bottle of poison most definitely found its way to the rec room. It was there at least until the window got broken. In other words, when the locked room was unlocked. There's no other way to explain the presence of that glass in that bottle.
And then, once the room was opened, the bottle somehow got moved back to the shelf in the chem lab. Meanwhile, the protein can we found at the crime scene was planted there.
Oh, so she just drank poison straight up. There was no trade.
That had to be after the locked room was opened. In other words, after Sakura died.
Wait, hold on. You're moving too fast.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'll grant you, the bottle of poison may well have been in the rec room when it was locked. But how can you say the protein can was put there after the room was
on top of the
unlocked?
glass.
We already know she was given the protein can with the poison inside, right? If that can wasn't there when she died, how did she get poisoned?
You're right. We do need to explain that. But before we do, there's something I'd like to confirm with everyone here.
Huh?
It has to do with the protein can. After Sakura's body was discovered, did anyone move it or trip over it or anything like that?
What are you talking about? Is this some kind of loaded question?
Not at all. Just answer to the best of your ability.
Well, no, not that I remember.
Yeah, me either.
Not me.
Same here. Yeah, me either.
Okay then, that settles it. That proves that the protein can found its way to the murder scene after the room was opened.
Oh, come on! How can you say that? How can you know what I don't know?
Yeah, I know, because it was on the glass. So, yes, I figured out... So, because the game is saying...
When it comes to that protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind. Until the locked room was unlocked, it absolutely was not in there.
So you're saying... someone planted it there after we got the door open?
No. No, that's impossible! It had to have been in there the whole time! It had to be! It was in there before the rec room was unlocked!
Color of television. You took on an achievement from what?
When it comes to that protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind.
Chem lab shelf.
Until the locked room was unlocked, it absolutely was not in there.
So you're saying... someone planted it there after we got the door open?
No. No, that's impossible! It had to have been in there the whole time! It had to be! It was in there before the rec room was unlocked!
No.
Shoot!
When it comes to that protein can,
Oops.
Un-
Yeah. That's Ali's account. No.
it absolutely was not in there.
So you're saying someone planted it there after we got the door open?
No. No, that's impossible! It had to have been in there the whole time! It had to be! It was in there before the rec room was unlocked!
Someone can prove that someone brought the protein can into the rec room after it was opened. I know the answer, Danny, because it was on top of the glass, but I don't know which clue points into
When
it.
it comes to that
Okay, source of the powder. Ah, okay.
there's not a doubt in my mind.
Until it absolutely.
So you're someone plant? No. It had to have been it. It had to.
To be. It was in there before the rec room was unlocked.
Oh, what? But that was... Oh. Wow, that was annoying.
Shoot!
When it comes to that protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind.
Empty protein drink. Right.
Until the
Locked room was it absolute.
So you're someone plant? No.
It had to have been in there the whole time! It had...
Had to be. It was in there before the rec room.
No, that's wrong!
No, that's wrong! Oh crap. There every time.
You remember how there was broken glass scattered all around the room, right?
Of course! It came from the window you broke to get in. What about it?
Well, those pieces weren't just scattered around the protein can.
Okay, so I've been noticing this for a while now, but occasionally their voices slow down,
We also found pieces underneath the
speed
can.
up. It's a bit weird.
What?
And